So, hey everyone, how's it going? I am getting back on track with my healthy self and it feels really good. Yes, I fell off track and it was not a pleasant experience. And so I won't be doing that anymore. But it was nice to remember where I came from and how toxic and poisonous and debilitating these processed foods can be for us. It completely changed who I was. I went on a tortilla binge and I'm off of it now. And I ate some other like grains, like cooked quinoa, I ate some cooked rice and, just some random stuff. And it was definitely not a pleasant experience at all. So I've made this fruit platter. I mean, this was a while ago, it's not today. I've got it out of my system and I'm feeling so much back to myself. I want to be in the sunshine a lot more. And I just feel back to my light, feel good self. So anyway, I made this fruit platter. I've got some pineapple and papaya. The papaya is from my land, my property here, and the banana is also from the property, and then the pineapple is from just down the road. So it's all local. I put some lime and then some chili on here, and it's like it just really hits a spot. After you indulge in foods that are not appropriate for humans, after you've eaten, healthy for a long time, it really gives you renewed gratitude for the fruit and for the salad and for the simple hydrating foods. Oh my God. It's everything. Especially the older you get. When you're younger, it doesn't affect you as much, but as you get older, you definitely notice the effects of eating food that is not in harmony with the human body. And it's just really quite devastating, honestly. It's emotionally depressing. It's physically debilitating. It's uncomfortable. It's just not worth it. And what I realized, is here's the deal. So yes, raw foods in their unprocessed states is the best. And so that means that you're not supposed to eat all foods, because personally, I don't like raw potato. Not my thing, And so here's the deal. We probably really shouldn't be eating potatoes. But if you're going to eat some cooked food, there's a line. There's a place to draw the line that makes sense. And that is between vegetables and grains. Okay, so cooked vegetables, if you're gonna eat cooked vegetables, go for potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash. Those are better vegetables to cook than even cauliflower and broccoli, because the cruciferous is hard to digest. I like a little raw cauliflower and broccoli here and there. Don't like it cooked so much, and it really just doesn't make me feel good when I eat a lot of it. So I'll eat a little. I'll eat like my broccoli dipped in, some kind of little sauce I made or something, and that's good. I don't have issues with that. But overall, those are not my favorite foods. This is my favorite food. Salad is my favorite food. Avocado, I've got my favorite foods. I'm going to grab some water. So I've got a big jar of lime water here too, which I have made almost all the time, either this or juice. But I just absolutely love this fresh spring water here. And then I put lime in it. I like my water way better with lime in it. And then I keep it in the fridge and it's available to me anytime I need it. And it's just like, it really just hits the spot. Especially when I've been outside for a long time in the heat. So anyways, so with the tortillas, what I noticed, and with all grains, is that when I bite into it and, after the fact and everything, I notice major teeth sensitivity. So that shit is rotting your teeth, okay? Along with sugar, along with the candy, along with the nuts that you don't soak, but the grains are really bad for your body and for your teeth, and it's corroding your body and your teeth. It's not human food. Cooked grains are not human food. Some grains, like quinoa, millet, amaranth, lentils or a pea, you can sprout those things and eat them raw, and they're really good and they're not going to rot you. But as soon as you start cooking your grains, you're inviting so many issues into your body. And after a while, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And for me, no, it's not at all. Now, I love wrapping things up, wrapping, salad up and vegetables up and eating it. Okay. I love doing that. And when I was in the garden, all the time, I had collard greens and broccoli greens and kale greens and lettuce greens and Asian greens, all kinds of greens where I took the bigger leaves and then I'd wrap up my smaller, salad and, radish, carrot, avocado, maybe some kind of, sauce that I've made and other random stuff. And I eat that, and it was just heavenly for me. So something about wrapping things up, I really love that. And the tortilla, gave me, and they're just everywhere here. I don't know how I resist it all these years, but they're everywhere, and they're addicting, and they're satiating, and they're just they're buttery. They're so good. Ooh, in one way, but in another way, they're so bad, and I'm over it. So there are other things that you can wrap your food in. Nori wraps are great, and then exploring with making your own wraps. And I want to go down that path again a little bit, making your own wraps out of coconut meat, out of corn, chia, zucchini. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. So I'm going to get back into that again. But I'm just saying, please stop eating the grains. That's one thing that's causing people a lot of problems. Plus the fried food, the fried oils, and the candy, the sugar, and the nuts are not so great unless you soak them at least, get the sprouting process going, and then you don't want to eat a lot, like a small handful a day. You want to limit the nuts and the seeds. Eat a little bit more seeds than nuts, but anyways. So that's just my words of wisdom right now from lots of experience with food and healing with diet and everything. And I would not be the person I am today without eating the way that I do. There's absolutely no way. When I was eating these cooked grains, I didn't want to go outside. I felt heavy. I felt crampy. I did not feel strong walking up and down the mountain. It was exhausting. I just didn't have the energy. I felt like a regular person my age, and it sucked. It's not for me. I want to feel vital and youthful and strong and free and light my whole entire life. So I'm sticking to the program, and it's not a bad program. It's really quite great. The food is delicious. There's lots of variety. You feel like a literal angel. So, and if I need to eat some cooked food, I go for potatoes, some squash, maybe some steamed green beans or something, something like that. Really simple stuff, and steer clear of all the other stuff, basically. So just keep that really simple. So I'm not saying that you can't thrive and heal without eating a little bit of cooked food, but you need to minimize it, and you need to be very particular about which food that is, because it definitely matters. Not all cooked food is the same. That's what I'm getting at. And so you want to keep it to around less than 20% of your diet, and eat it later in the day if you can, basically. So yeah. So anyways, this is just so yummy. This fruit is I can't believe something tastes that good. It's just heavenly. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. So yeah. This is my first meal today, my little snack. I've had a lot of water in mine. And, ready to break the fast, and this is a perfect way to do it. And I'll make a salad later. And it's just heavenly food to me. So I brought over, where did it go? But yeah. I brought over some mole. So this is, I used to make mole a lot, and mole is a traditional Mexican dish or side dish or whatever, sauce. And it's made with different nuts and seeds and spices and chilies, and it's so freaking good. And so I found this in our little store here, one of our little stores, and I was like, I'm gonna try it. It's got a couple things in it, or one thing in it that I normally would not eat, but we're just looking over that right now and enjoying this treat. There are worse things in life, and it's mostly, that ingredient is further down the list, and it's mostly seeds and chilies and spices. It's really good. So just take a little bit and put it on a piece of fruit. This is like perfect snack. So good. That's so good. So yeah, feeling good in your body is a taste better than all other tastes. It is the best. And you don't really know until you get there and you sustain yourself there for a while and you're like, okay, I get it now. The food is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And the food is keeping people oppressed. It's keeping people in the dark. It's keeping people inside. It's keeping people's minds small rather than expanded. Because that's what it does. It's like stuffing your battery full of crap, and then your battery juices can't flow properly. And so you want to clean all that out. You want to clean out your colon. Oh my God, it's so important. You just want to let the waterfall go through your whole body and wash yourself clean. Literally, that's what it's about. That's what the baptism is really about, is purifying the body. So because when you purify the body, then you feel more love and you feel more connection to everything. And then you find God. You find God in everything, and you realize that everything is inside of you and everything is a projection from inside of you. And so the more that you can clean your screen, the more clean the world is around you and the more bright and shiny the world is around you. And it's good. It is so good when it's bright and shiny. Oh man, everything glistens. So, but I know it's hard to maintain it. I still struggle with maintaining it, doing this for decades. I still struggle. Because I don't have a lot of support, and there's a lot of distractions, and there's a lot of people to pull you into the distractions, and there's a lot to struggle in this world. And so we seek ways to numb ourselves and to cope and to placate ourselves and to, entertain ourselves. Food is great entertainment. And, just calm ourselves down, because the food definitely brings it all down a few notches. But it's just and then you're just kind of blah. Or where's a screen that I can stare at and numb myself out to? And that's not even satisfying. You're where's a bed that I can curl up to? And that's not even satisfying, because nothing feels good when you feel shitty in your body. And so I'm just saying, try it. Try doing it. You're not going to die from malnutrition. That's almost impossible. Unless you have some kind of, issues going on, parasitic issues, gut issues, whatever it is. Now that can cause problems for you, but if you're doing all right in the gut and everything, not eating, cooked food or a lot of food or whatever for, a few days, a few weeks, a few years, a few lifetimes, it's not going to kill you. It's just not. So try it, because it just really makes all the difference. I just feel so much more love in my eyes. I love my kitty so much. Well, when I was eating the tortillas and stuffing myself, to stupidity, I wasn't feeling the love. I wasn't feeling the connection, And so I get that I'm operating from this space that's kind of innocent and childlike and, woo, airy fairy, but I'm not an airy fairy. I'm very grounded in this reality. But it's really good to reach for the heavens too and to fly with the angels. I mean, that's kind of what we're supposed to do. It's good to feel like you're walking a few inches off the ground. Then you're doing good. That's a good thing. So anyways, so this body is our temple. How How do you want to worship inside of your temple? That's the question. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. The pleasure that you get from that moment of eating a tortilla or whatever it is, I mean, it's so quick and then it's over. And then it's like your body's digesting it, and none of that is fun. No, that doesn't feel good for anyone. Nobody enjoys that. And so we just got to get past the need for that temporary pleasure so that we can experience infinite bliss and infinite oneness and ecstatic existence and a healthy body. It's our birthright to experience that. And it's just such a lovely experience. So you want to be hydrated. You want your juices flowing. That's important. And you want to be empty of obstruction. So you want to be empty of foods that are like really dense, and causing your intestines, your stomach to work a lot harder than they really need to, and to be clogged up with a bunch of blockages that's blocking the breathing of everything, the pulsating. That's what you want. You just want this like healthy, pulsating, clean machine that sure digests food sometimes and and stuff like that, but you don't want to be digesting food all the time. You want to digest spirit and light, air. I can breathe so much. It's like my breath was shallow when I was eating the crap, and I can breathe now, and like I can literally like pop my entire spine from just breathing if I lay there and get still enough. And after I've, I'm not when I'm like full of a bunch of food, but let's say I've done an enema or something, and I lay there for like 20 minutes and I get really still, and then I breathe some deep breaths, and I mean, everything just starts popping just from breath alone. It's amazing. Okay. I had a friend drop something off. So anyways, being light is definitely the way for me. I have no lack of strength because I'm not eating meat or heavy foods or whatever. That's just a non-issue. I have tons of energy and tons of strength. I'm not at the gym, like lifting huge weights and stuff. Like that's not my thing. So, but anyways, I'm good for what I need to do. I'm good. And I do lift heavy things, and I work, manual work in the garden and stuff like that. And I do, a lot of yoga and exercise and everything. And I do tons of hiking, which is my lower body. Well, it's the whole body, especially coming uphill. You really have to, pump it uphill. So it works the whole body. And I just feel way better on the raw foods. It's night and day difference, not even the same person. And so it's humbling to realize, over and over again that I would not be who I am if I ate normal food. I just wouldn't. And so I'm not special. No one is special. We just make decisions, to lighten our load and to change our lives so that life is more enjoyable and easier to get through, so that we're more graceful through life. And we all can make those decisions. I'm trying to tell you that. Because I know it's not easy, and I know, we fall asleep so quickly, do it all the time, it's like one breath, it's like, oh yeah, and then the next breath, we're doing something stupid. And so, if you can experience how good it feels, then you can remember that, and you can let that be a reminder of why you want to stick to the program, for the feeling. And the more that you experience it, the easier it gets, for sure. So, anyways, the world's going to shit because evil, greedy, narcissistic, entitled men think that I don't even want to know what goes on in their brains. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being that entitled being that arrogant and being that aggressive and that destructive. I couldn't imagine. It blows my mind that humans can be like that. Man, they must be eating a lot of fucking crap and just freaking miserable and taking it out on everyone else. And there's enough stupid people still left in the world that they give these people power. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm a rational, reasonable person who values existence for something entirely different than what I'm witnessing a lot of people value existence for. So I personally can't, it's not something I can fathom, because, and I'm not living for praise or rewards in this material world, although I like a little comfort too. I'm not trying to just like totally rough it through this life. But I'm not living for this world. I'm living for God and for spirit and for ascension, for spiritual ascension, for whatever it is that I'm facing, because let's face it, we all suffer here. Suffering is not optional. It's required to exist on earth. And now you don't have to suffer all of the time, but you're going to suffer some for sure. And you're going to learn, you're going to grow from that suffering, hopefully. And then, you're going to evolve and you're going to spiritually ascend. That's the whole point of it. So that you don't need to come back and suffer anymore, basically. And that's personally what I'm trying to get to. So I can't imagine coming to earth and then acting like a bull in a china cabinet, thinking that I'm here to just steal, hoard, dominate, abuse, use, and destroy everything, and that there aren't repercussions to that, because I've met God. And whatever you want to call it, I've met the Spirit. The Spirit has shown me that it's real, and that we do live on in spirit form after we shed our skin, and that's all very real. That's just something that I was shown that I cannot deny. And so eternity is a big deal, and I just want to be blessed. And it's not out of fear, it's just, I listen to my heart, and I do what feels right and what feels good. And blessing others feels good to me. Hurting others feels bad to me. It's pretty simple, It's pretty simple. And so how these people end up like this, they just have to be super traumatized, and they're living in a completely warped alternate reality than what I'm living in, for sure. And it's quite insane at this point. So I'm just glad to be somewhere where it's not insane, where people are super friendly. And I went for a midday walk, and I saw a bunch of people, and my friend, he was like, "Oh, God, yeah." And she she was leaning in to give me a kiss, because that's what, but then she kind of realized that we weren't that close, but I kind of saw it. It was so cute. And then the grandmother lady sitting outside our house, she's like, "Where's your car?" And I'm like, "It's down right now," because they've been seeing me walk a lot more. Now I walked a lot, but when I first got here, but then I guess I got kind of, and I still walked, but I guess I got kind of lazy. And I would take my car just 2 or 3 blocks down the road. Okay, why was I doing that? No wonder my car broke down on me. That's not the right thing to be doing. That's not the healthy, evolved, free thing to be doing. So now I'm back to walking, and it feels great. And I'm not going to be taking my car, 2 or 3 blocks down the road anymore. That's absolutely ridiculous, but it's nice to have for longer hauls, and for when I need to carry heavy stuff from town and stuff like that. It's nice to have a car, for sure. And to get to some of the really amazing, nature spots and stuff, you gotta drive. You gotta drive an hour sometimes, and I'm just not, that walking ain't gonna cut it. So anyways, I'm happy to be back on my feet, and I feel blessed to be back on my feet. But anyways, they were like, "You're strong," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's good for my health to do this," So nobody knows what to make of me. I'm not your typical gringo. I don't really fit in anywhere, but I feel most comfortable here. I feel like I belong more here than anywhere else, basically, even though I'm different. I didn't belong in the US, and I'm reminded of that all the time. It just was never where I belonged. I never fit into that culture. And, I did okay, It's not like everyone hated me, and I just was totally didn't fit in, but it wasn't, it's just not the culture for me. I understand why I was born there and raised there and everything. I get that. But it's a barbaric culture, and there's just so much fear in the air, and so much anxiety, and so much confusion, and so much hostility. And it just doesn't feel good, and it's dysfunctional, and I was just like, how can this is not living, this is not it. And I hope things can shift one day, allow more immigrants in. Immigrants are bringing the good vibes. You know, you're kicking out the goodbye people. You know who to kick out. If you want to kick out the rapists and the murderers and the thieves and the liars, you know who they are, you know? And the country would be a better, now where are you going to put those people? I don't know. But the country would be a much better place without those people, for sure. And so that's just my 2 cents, because I don't see them changing, you know, and they're really just making life miserable for everyone. And it's like, how much more do you want to put up with it, you know? I guess y'all are stuck with them. I'm glad I got away. But, so yeah, oh, this food is so good. I love fruit. Fruit loves me. Fruit makes me feel healthy and free. You know how kids are like, the food's so good. It's because they got all their enzymes firing and they haven't destroyed their bodies yet. And so when you eat the good fruit and the salad and the raw foods and do the fasting and all the stuff, you return back to that state. And then you just feel like an innocent, excited child again. And it's just great. And everything tastes better. I mean, the flavors just explode in your mouth, you know? You don't need all that cooked crap. It's gross. You're just addicted to it like a drug. That's all. It's not really serving you. And it's not even entertaining you in any good way anymore. And you know it. You know that. You know, maybe that first tortilla that you eat after years, you know, is a little fun, but it goes downhill real quickly. So I'm just saying that there's more to life. And the sunshine, oh, it's like when I'm light, I want to be in the sun, and the sun is food. And the sun energizes me. When I'm full of cooked food, the sun drains me. It's totally different. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want it. Also, my eyes, when I eat the cooked stuff, it's like I'm like squinting and I'm like, oh, the sun hurts, you know, and it's like everything's blurry and I'm just like, you know, but I'm like, bring it all in and everything's clear and bright and shiny, and, you know, it's just, it makes all the difference. So I'm just here as a reminder that the power is in your hands, and so many problems could be solved from within. Through changing your diet, through changing your habits and your lifestyle, your whole world can change. And then the people around you will adjust to how you've changed, because everything is energy and everything is vibration. And so tap into that higher vibration and watch things shift. And what I'm saying is, you know, give it like a week, you know, and then you'll see the shift. But you got to give it a try first. That's all I'm saying. See what we're talking about here. That's all, baby. So, So yeah, it's really sad to see. It's like when I was a kid in our country and people in wars and stuff like that, I don't know what I thought about wars. It kind of seemed to always have been around. And so it's like, I didn't question it, you know, but I guess I thought it was something that responsible adults did because it had to be done. Now it's just so obvious to me that this is child's play. It's sick. It's demented. It's deranged. It's barbaric, and it's for absolutely no good reason. And it's just amazing to me that of all the countries I could have been born into, I was born into the most aggressive, warlike country on earth. And that is really upsetting to me. It's disturbing to me. I'm glad I'm not there now, because I don't support what's happening at all. And I think that it's morally wrong. And it's really inviting a lot of negativity into the United States. And the United States has done fuck the fuck up. That's just the truth. And I don't want to be a part of that karma. And I don't want to be a part of that energy, because it's nasty. It's not civil, it's not civilized, it's not diplomatic, it's not intelligent, it's just brute monsters going around like the bullies in the playground, just thinking they can beat everyone up. And when you're in elementary school, you got in trouble. You got sent to the principal's office for that. And then you got reprimanded and you got in trouble in some way. You got punished. Now, with what's going on now, I believe there's going to be spiritual punishment. I believe that it's being allowed to happen, and people are being allowed to show what they support through words, through silence, through action, through inaction. They're getting to show who they are. And just like Santa Claus, God sees everything. God's watching and taking notes. And it's good to have the contrast, of what not to become. And, we do have contrast in this world, and that's just a fact. And so we can witness it and go, well, that's just horrible. And strive in our lives more to create peace and to create, positive order and functionality and deeper meaning and purpose in life and a shared, positive, healthy existence with our environment, our community, our surroundings, the earth, ourselves, our pets, everything. We can choose to just be more conscious, because that is unconscious behavior. It's just amazing that it's the money. It's the money that it's allowing this. So money, the way that it's being utilized in our world is not natural, and it's really disturbing everything, basically. And they can just print all the money that they want, and they can manipulate the market, and they can steal, and they can hoard, and they can do all of that. And who is stopping them? Nobody is stopping them. If I could stop them, I would. But I had to just leave, That was my solution, but it's literally evil and satanic. And I wonder where it's going. Ultimately, I think the main thing that we're going to witness is the self-destruction, the self-annihilation, because the jewels and the treasures and the fancy clothes and everything else that you can buy can only prop you up for so long. Eventually, this kind of living is destructive, and it's going to destroy those that are creating it, that are creating the destruction. So, and that's what we're saying, through the foods, because you lack consciousness in all areas of life. If you're like that, that's just how it works. You eat the shitty foods. You don't move your body in conscious ways. You're stressed out. You're inside all of the time. You're contracted in fear and hostility and brutality. And the cancer gets you, your body hardens up, becomes acidic and festers, and you've got the tumors, and the cancer grows, and it takes you out, and it gets worse with each generation. And so ultimately that is where it's going. So like I said, though, it delays because, they can afford all of the medicines and the comforts to prop themselves up, to prolong it all a little longer, but eventually it's all just going to implode and it's going to self-destruct. And I just think that is going to be a good lesson for people to witness. And I just think that everything, it's like a movie, and it's the stage is being set and the characters are being drawn, and everyone's getting to choose their side or, show who they are and choose their story here. And you got to be given that chance to choose it and just show it, because that's what we're here to do. And then, some of us are witnessing it and choosing a different story, but everyone's getting to choose, right? And there's always consequences with your choices. And like I said, the money can insulate you from the consequences for so long, but eventually it all catches up with you in the form of self-destruction, basically. And I think that we are witnessing that, and we're going to witness that more and more and more and more. And eventually it's no longer going to be desirable for even the nastiest, most evil person to want to be that way anymore, because they're going to somehow see the suffering involved with it. And all the people that are choosing not to be that way, that are not suffering, And eventually everyone's going to be won over, and it's going to be heaven on earth, but not our lifetime. And that's just a dream. I don't really know. But that's the ideal, that everyone is won over into the light and into health and into love and into sharing and into coexisting in peace. And we could do it. We could live here on earth in so much peace, in the light, and so much health and happiness, even with the technology. You know, if we put all of our efforts into positivity, into the light, and into what's good, it's possible, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So create your little bubble of peace and stick to that for now. And, you know, just find where it works for you the best. Because on the mass level, it's just crazy out there. It's just sadistic evil at this point. And the people that, you know, I'm like, God, I mean, it's just so obvious to me, right? And so the people that it's not obvious to, that are, you know, like, oh, let's kill it. Well, we're exceptional. Those people are not healed people, and those people do not have clean temples. No way. They're stupid, and their brains aren't working because their bodies are clogged, and they're freaking rats in a cage. You know, they are nothing more than gullible pawns in a game. And their brains, they have no attention spans. They don't remember anything. And so all you got to do is ding the bell, and they're like, oh, yeah. And they're like, they're sadistic. You know, they get off on hurting others. They're not creating anything positive in their life. So they actually they get their thrills and their adrenaline rushes and their sense of importance and power from their chosen evil masters doing evil things that affect good people. And that somehow gives them pleasure, sick pleasure, right? And that's really what's going on. These are not adult games. These are not rational, reasonable adults. And that's so sad to me, because when I was a child, I think I thought that adults were rational and reasonable. And now I think children are more rational and reasonable than adults. And I want nothing to do with these stupid games. Okay, enough on that. I'm just going to enjoy the fruit. Enough about the problems in the world. Let's focus on the solutions. So, eating fruit. Oh, I'm feeling just so satiated by this. Eating fruit, getting outside, being good and kind to our bodies, detoxing, meditating, getting to stillness and silence so that we can hear our thoughts and hear the messages that want to come into our hearts from the higher powers, from the angels, whatever you want to call it. It's real. And they have messages for you, and they have guidance for you, but you can't hear it if you're full of crap and you're distracted all the time. So you want to empty out and get still and receive it with grace, receive it with gratitude, and know that when you align with that, you're going to be blessed and you're going to be okay. And things are going to work out, and you're going to be guided into the light and to what's best. And that's not always that's not always what's comfortable. That's not always what's convenient. That's not always what's easy. That's not always what's popular or even supported in mainstream society. It's not necessarily going to make you rich, you know, and it's not going to make you famous necessarily, but it will set you free. And that's what you came here to do. You came here to set your spirit free. And this body is the temple with which your spirit resides. So that's why you want a clean body, not for some kind of image-oriented thing, but because through a clean vessel and a clean temple, that's how you set your spirit free. And that's what you came here to do. It's really quite simple, but I know it's not so simple in this world. And so that's why I created this world out here, away from that chaotic world where things are simple. And you can get back to the simple and to what's good and to what's real. And that's what I'm about here. So thanks for tuning in. Go on an afternoon walk and go meditate to the sunset on top of a mountain. And just get still and quiet, because that's what feels good and peaceful. Much love, everyone, my darlings, my friends. Oh, yeah, I'm ready for a shift. I'm ready for a shift.